Chapter 12, Aliens. For many people, aliens are real. Some have experienced abductions. This is not so for people who choose not to believe in extraterrestrial encounters. Knowing that every person is a universe in the multiverse, we can now better understand the vivid contact experiences so many have described. These things really happen to many of those people, and yet aliens are simply incongruent with the universe of others. I can say that aliens have not thus far been part of my universe. Although I wouldn't call it proof, there are plenty of breadcrumbs to credibly choose a universe with an active alien presence. Applying the Truth Cypher, I see no harm or reason to question that ET contact is true experience for most people that have it. However, it's not hard to envision a scenario where the corporate media makes a move to present ET presence as part of a consensus reality they attempt to control. Assuming most of their audience does not live in an ET universe, this kind of revelation would be quite shocking. The fear would present yet another opportunity for government and media to manipulate the public into willfully acquiescing to the reduction of their freedom. The Truth Cypher shows that an effect that results in harm means we must question the motive and truthfulness of the event. If masses are able to utilize the Truth Cypher, even if people cannot agree on an overlapping universe of events, seeing harm to themselves or others as fallout can help to unite disparate minds toward right action. All right, so I had to write the aliens chapter. I recently finished Graham Hancock's Supernatural, and I guess I can, even though I'm saying in a multiverse, it's all true because it's all mind. So you're creating the universe with your mind. So if your mind has manifested an alien contact experience, that's true for you. But I wonder if we can say that some universes are more true. And I wonder, I'm kind of with Graham Hancock in how he describes, how he equates supernatural experience going back, thousands and thousands of years. We're talking about Lascaux caves. He's saying the same narrative patterns that that the shamans were having are the same. It's the same type of experience that abductees are having. He's citing studies that say 2% of the population actually have visionary experiences, whereas the rest of us would need psychedelics such as DMT or ayahuasca to have these experiences. But some people actually can have them without psychedelics because, as I understand it, these types of drugs are just activating chemicals already present in the brain. Regarding aliens, I don't question that people have had those experiences at all. Like, I think it would be. I think it would be wrong to just say that experience is not true, which I think is part of this Truth Cypher project. You have the quote unquote sheeple who believe a certain narrative that they're told in the news. That's their world. So you can't the approach that says you guys are wrong for believing this. It's like that's their entire world. It's not going to be a productive approach. So regarding aliens, I do think it's more a mind manifestation because everything is a mind manifestation anyway. So I think the alien experience, it's happening to people who don't have the scaffolding of a shamanic tribal experience to decode the experience. So they're just saying, "Oh my gosh, I was abducted by aliens." Whereas you could look at fairy experiences in Ireland or something, and they're not gonna be all that different. The narrative sequence, the probing, there's a lot of scenarios where like mothers are asked to care for alien children they've had in the supernatural realm. So that's just sort of, I found that fascinating. And, as someone who does not have visionary experiences at all, although I feel like I have deep intuitive experiences, but these are things that are not are not manifesting in how I perceive the material realm. I don't have this overlapping, this blurring of the material and the spiritual, which I think some people do, and I think if you take psychedelic drugs, you will. That's not an experience I've had, but I do like that Graham Hancock went, and took the drugs to sort of get confirmation for the research he was doing on his supernatural project. So I think that's really great. I guess I get into the how the reality, the people who think they control reality, could use an alien invasion, which you've kind of seen that happen before. I was just reading to my kid about the the War of the Worlds radio program, and how ostensibly people believed they were being invaded by aliens because maybe they didn't catch the beginning of the program or the end that said, this is a production. Although even that, I don't know if I'm not sure if I believe that many people fell for it either, just based on that's from the New York Times and they're saying this is what people believed. I think they just create narratives. It's like an onion of narratives. But the idea that you could make people believe something fantastical that might not be manifesting sensorially for anyone is something we need to look out for. Even in the more scientific journals, there's always discussion of aliens. I don't know. It doesn't seem scientifically that there's really anything to suggest that that anything like that could happen. If you follow their own research. But they are the high priests of our time. So if they start to feed us information that says, it's looking like there's alien activity here. What was there's like this Dyson sphere. It's some superstructure out in space that's like harnessing that they theorize, because they don't know what it is. They theorize that they've covered their planet in satellites or something to harness the power of the energy of their star. I mean, it's just a theory, but these are the theories that are taken seriously in scientific journals. So they could say, they've caught us observing them, and now they're coming for us. You know what I mean? Like, this is mainstream stuff. So, and you have people are kind of primed for it with all the alien invasion movies and such. But if we bring it back down to our sensory realm, I think it's quite common that people do have the abduction experience, and it's been studied. Read Graham Hancock's Supernatural for more of the sources. Because I'm just riffing right now based on my memory. I'm not really. I don't consider myself such a researcher. As I said in the beginning, I'm synthesizing information via intuition. So I'm going to take facts I know about and try to come up with my own theories about those facts based on my intuition. But I don't know. Do I have anything else to add? I think I covered everything regarding aliens. But to bring it back to the Truth Cypher, multiple events are true thesis. You go one layer up, all is mind. That could absolutely be manifest reality for some people, because every person, as we've demonstrated in previous chapters, I think the previous chapter, thanks to Pokemahan, people are the multiverse. Every mind, every individuated consciousness generates their own universe. And some people are walking around with universes that manifest aliens. I haven't actually met anyone who has, and that 2% who's having those visionary experiences would suggest that some people would have some stories to tell. And, I've met probably thousands of people in my life, and nobody's really discussed that, although that's probably not correct. I feel like maybe because I've sort of, I was brought up in some religious backgrounds, there is actually supernatural experience that manifests quite frequently in maybe the more evangelical sects, and I guess they have their lens of religion is how they interpret that reality. So that's actually interesting, because if you're a person with no religion and you had an abduction, you think you had some sort of supernatural experience, you might only have the abduction narrative to make sense of it. But if you're a religious person and you had what somebody might call the abduction experience, you will probably say you were visited by angels or something, or yeah, you had a meeting with God or whatnot. But what's interesting, it's all similar experience, but the reality you've chosen decodes that experience. So if you choose what I'm presenting, a truth cipher, you maybe you just have more tools to understand. Maybe you don't have to choose one reality over another. Maybe you can understand that all these universes are happening all at once. And maybe the important thing is not to get caught up in what happened, and it's just look at the effect of what happened. I'm going to talk about religion in a later chapter, so there's some things I could say about some of those experiences, because but I think I will just put it out there now. You could have a visionary experience and it could tell you to do something awful, but you really had that experience, so you probably need some sort of moral guidance, some sort of truth cipher to resist that, because if you had a visionary experience that breaks down through your material perception of the world, and it's telling you to do something that is just wrong, you need some sort of moral core to still make right decisions. Like, just because it manifests as a spiritual experience, it doesn't mean you have to listen to it. I mean, there's all sorts of negative energies out there. So, that's just a little clue to, when we talk about religion later on, what, some things to watch out for. I think that's enough for today. Sorry if I'm not on the, I guess I've revealed that I'm not in the alien believer camp. When I've noticed a lot of flat Earth people are also not not on board with aliens, which is interesting. And I am not a flat Earth person, but as I said in a previous chapter, I love flat Earthers. I think the philosophy is spot on. So there's a lot to be learned from flat Earthers. Do not laugh at them. Listen to their philosophy, even if you don't believe that the Earth is flat, as I do not at this time. But when you step back a layer, in some universe with multiverse theory, maybe the Earth is flat. But this was about aliens, so let's just focus on that for now. And I think I'm going to sign off for today. Thanks.